Hey there again. This is me, Antoinette. Welcome to Listen and Learn with Antoinette. And of course, I'm your host, Antoinette. This is my new YouTube page. Please, I would appreciate if you guys would support me by subscribing. And I'm actually going to talk about something I wanted to talk about as an extension to my video I put live on Facebook. And it's about Mr. Floyd. You know, the man that was murdered by Officer Chavan, where Chavan put his knee in Floyd's neck for 9 minutes until the man passed away. It's been a lot of controversy regarding punishment. And although it took a long time for them to arrest Chavan, eventually Chavan got bailed out. But yet the case is not over. He's being charged with murder in the second degree, and we're all praying that justice be served. But we all know how America is, so that's up in the air. But you know, there are people out here that are looking for certain punishments for Chavan. And that's understood. A lot of people say he deserves the death penalty. A lot of people say he deserves to rot in prison. In my eyes, I believe that karma is a very powerful monster. And to be honest with you, we're not supposed to be the judges whether he gets executed or not. And at the same time, I feel the pain that the black community feels because yet this man's life, Mr. Floyd's life, was taken. It was taken for granted. It was treated as though it didn't matter. And the man suffered until he passed away. I do believe in an eye for an eye in certain situations. But I also believe that God is the best vengeance you could ever hope for on a person like Chavan. And trust and know what I tell you. Chavan will get his. He's going to get his. I've never believed in the death penalty. I always thought that a person should rot and suffer in jail, because to me the death penalty is the easy way out. We don't know whether that person's going to heaven or hell. It's not up to us, it's up to God. But at the same time, I feel like people get off easy with the death penalty. A few moments of pain and it's over. When the person that they murdered suffered for a long time in agony. So I always believe a person should suffer in agony and be locked away for the rest of their lives, never to seeing the light of day. But then again, that's just me. That's Antoinette's opinion and thoughts on life. But we have a lot of bad situations that happens differently for certain individuals when they commit murder. And I'm not a prejudiced person. I'm of a mixed race. I'm not prejudiced. I have white friends, Hispanic friends, Indian friends, of all. I have so many friends in different nationalities. And you know something? What disturbs me the most is that so many people get charged differently when it comes to murders. Chavan, second degree murder. He might go to prison for 30 years. Maybe. Black men that have committed petty thefts, never murdered a person, robbery, go to prison for 50 to 100 years. We live in a very, very, very prejudiced system. We live in a prejudiced world. A friend of mine on Facebook told me about a woman that cooked her husband and tried to feed it to the kids, and I looked it up. This woman's right now serving time in prison. But for you to be that heinous, to kill your husband, cook the husband, and try to feed the husband to the kids. she should be in prison for the rest of her life. But I don't think she will be in prison for the rest of her life, which is unsettling to me. We have a weird justice system. And I could go even further back to the time there was a lady who drowned all of her children. She had a lawyer that she got away with being, insane. He the plea of insanity. And actually got away with that. And spending her life in an institution. Yet you got a black man or a black boy that will literally commit no crime of murder whatsoever, but will turn around and get caught for armed robbery or running from the police or drug dealing, however. And a lot of these young men damn near get life in prison or get life in prison. It's unreal. And no matter how many people they lock up, of the black community, there's still drugs in the country. The drugs are still coming over here. It hasn't stopped. There's still drugs being pushed through liquor stores. There's still drugs being pushed in the hood and on the blocks. It hasn't stopped anything. But instead of rehabilitating a lot of our people, especially those who were raised where they felt the streets was the only community that loved them. People have fallen into depression because of this. People have fallen into not just a depression, but suicidal. They've been suicidal because of this. The black community has a high rate of mental issues. Yet, we have cops out here that can't pass psych evaluations, but still are able to be put on the streets. We have black people that need serious mental help, but yet there are no resources reaching out to them to give them help. We live in a very confusing world. We live in a very unfair world. So, as far as my opinion on Chavan and what punishment he should get, to be honest with you, I feel Chavan should spend the rest of his life in prison. I'm upset that he got bailed out, but I wasn't surprised. But I think he should spend the rest of his life in prison. I think he should spend the rest of his life and get haunted by the ghosts of the people he's harmed. In my opinion. Because I know in the end, when it's all said and done, God has the last say so. God is the judge and the jury. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. And God can handle people way better than we can. So this was just my little segment, giving an opinion on voices that I've heard from community people about punishment and the situation with Mr. Floyd and, justice being served and those other officers serving time and things like that, and whether they should get the death penalty, this, that, and the other. And I feel the death penalty is just the easy way out. I feel they literally should suffer in prison. I do. I think our laws are backwards. I think my people are suffering unnecessarily in other ways, not just the murders. I think we're suffering mentally. I think there needs to be some kind of community activist program to help those who have mental illnesses, who are in need, to be able to function. Because we already have so many things against us as it is. It's a crime to be black. It's a crime to be a black man. It's a crime to be a black woman. Then we have to deal with the rest of the world, being accepted in the world, praying that we get the good job and we don't get judged by our color. Praying that we're able to take care of our families and not lose our jobs, being judged off of our color. Wrongly accused and not being able to survive. We need a lot of work in the community. We need a lot of work as a people. And the only way we can do that is through faith, working together, bonding together, sticking up for each other, not battling each other. moving forward and not only putting our fists up saying Black Lives Matter, but we need to, as adults, put our feet forward and go into some of these organizations and petition that our Black people get as much mental support as they possibly can, dealing with all the trauma that we have dealt with just because we're Black. Think about that. Join me for the next segment. I've got some studying to do. I've got some more opinions to make. So join me for my next segment. I'll be back on Monday. Until then, thank you very much for tuning in with Antoinette. Listen and learn with Antoinette. I'm Antoinette. Please subscribe to my page. These videos can only get better. I'm enjoying this. I really enjoy talking to the public. I enjoy putting out my views. I enjoy, looking on both sides of the fence, putting myself in other people's shoes, looking at a different reality, giving advice if I can. I'm not perfect, but I love the response. If the response helps just one person, if that's someone telling me that it helped that one person, it was worth at least 20 videos. So this is something I enjoy doing. But again, see you guys on Monday. Feel free to follow me on Facebook, Antoinette Charrier. Until then, God bless you all. I'll catch you next time. Peace, love.